How do you reconcile, if at all, the Baal Shem Tov view that Hashgacha Pratis extends to a single blade of grass with the Rambam's tiered approach in Mir Nevuchim, where he explains that it is reserved on a klali level. I think you want to say on a prati level, for those who actively engage in his abundance and strive for closeness to Hashem, and other creations who don't have that kind of intimacy, that they only have Hashgacha on a klali level. He explicitly states that providence does not extend to a leaf falling from a tree, or that a certain spider catches a certain fly. So the question basically is, are these perspectives fundamentally different, or can they be synthesized within a unified Hashgachic framework? That's the first question. Now, you have to start with this. The Rebbe has an essay on Hashgacha Pratis, which is printed in Likutei Sichos Chelik Ches, and reprinted in the Igreis Kodesh. I'm going to assume that it's in volume 2. If it's not in volume 2, it's in volume 3. It's not hard to find the letter, because the letter was written to Rabbi Rivkin. If you look up in the Maftech Shemes of the Igreis Kodesh Rivkin, you'll find his name, you'll find the letter. It's extremely scholarly and extremely abstract. And there brings all the opinions. And of course there are many opinions. Not just the Rambam and the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov has a notion called Hashgacha Kolos and Hashgacha Pratis, that if you're closer to God, Hashem has oversight over you in a very specific way. If you're further from God, so he just oversees the species, the type, that every animal species should survive, but which one lives and dies is not directly overseen. And the Rambam is not unique in this. Most Rishonim agree with that the closer you are to Hashem, the more Hashgacha you have. The farther you are from Hashem, the less Hashgacha you have. Which really means that their concept of Hashgacha is almost like a reward. A better person has a greater Hashgacha, a lesser person has lesser Hashgacha, so you create your own Hashgacha. And the Rambam says that Hashgacha Pratis is on everything. And the classic expression is on datzach, Temimim Achei. I would encourage you to look in that letter and see the footnotes there. I want you to know that the Rebbe spoke about this many times. I remember the Rebbe once saying in Fabrengen, where I was present. The Rebbe said in Fabrengen, the mittel Rebbe matatzach, zu mishalav sein, the Shita Hashgacha Pratis, von dem Rambam mit den Shiten von Baal Shem Tov. And he added, man kann sich vorstellen, wo das meint, der mittel Rebbe soll sich materen. The Rebbe said that the mittel Rebbe, whose brain was absolutely incredibly strong, struggles to reconcile the Rambam and the Baal Shem Tov when it comes to this question of Hashgacha. I think it's in Teres Chaim and Lech Lecha, but it's not hard to find. And if you need, I could find it for you. And the Rebbe said the idea that the Mittel Rebbe would have to struggle with any question tells you how difficult a question it is. Now, the basic answer to your question is a simple one. The Rambam's approach to everything is logical, is logic. And in the Rambam's model of logic, by definition, every system is going to have a primary and a secondary, a more important and a less important. It's impossible to have a logical system where all entities are equal. And accordingly, it's impossible to have a logical system where all entities are central. And therefore, the Rambam holds that there's garbage, there's waste in the world. It doesn't make the Eibishter out of control. It simply explains that the world has a purpose, and there's primary and secondary and tertiary and so forth. And the lesser important things are further away from the Eibishter. So the foundation of the Rambam's approach is the fact that the Rambam is approaching it logically. Chassidus is approaching it on a level above logic. We call in our culture Rotzen, Pnimiyus Rotzen. And on that level, everything is not only important, everything is equal important, like the famous quote that the previous Rebbe says about the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov's Shita and Hashgacha has two big chidushim. Number one, that Hashgacha Pratis is a filu, while that Hashem oversees even animals, plants, and minerals in a precise way. Number two, each aspect of Hashgacha Pratis is negiah leklolos kavanos rabbi. Every aspect of Hashgacha, even in the tiniest components, touches the entire purpose of the creation. Because the Baal Shem Tov's approach is altogether above logic, and on the absolute level, everything is absolute. So there are two different worlds. There are apples and oranges. Now, bepashtus, on a simple level, the Rambam speaks this way because the Rambam is a philosopher, and philosophers speak within the parameters of logic. The Rambam is a makubal. The Baal Shem Tov is a makubal, and a rebbe of Chassidus says different rules. But our Rebbeim very much wanted to reconcile the two approaches. And the final word on it, in my opinion, is the Sikha that the Rebbe said, the second Hadrin, from Tov Shin Mem Vav, which is printed in Likutei Sichos Chelik Chaf Zayin, I believe, where the Rebbe says that the Rambam's opinion and Chassidus' opinion are both true. In fact, they work together as a synthesis, but the Rambam is speaking after the Tzimtzum, and Chassidus and Kabbalah are speaking before the Tzimtzum. Meaning, the Rambam is describing Hashgacha that we can understand. The Rambam is describing Hashgacha, that's what we'd call revealed, where you can see the Hashgacha of the Eibishter, and the Hashgacha seems to make sense to you. That Hashgacha is not universal, that Hashgacha is not uniform. Everything has a different Hashgacha. Some things have less, some things have more, some things have none. The Baal Shem Tov is telling you the absolute truth. But the Baal Shem Tov's absolute truth is not a logical truth. On a logical level, it's impossible to have a complex system where everything is equal. So, the Rambam is not talking about Hashgacha Pratis in the absolute sense. He's talking about the visibility, the Hashgacha that you can understand. And the same is true with all the other Rishonim who both have a concept of Hashgacha Pratis and Hashgacha Klalis, that they're describing the Hashgacha that you can see evidence of in the world. Chassidus is telling you the truth, and they're both true. It's true that everything is Hashgacha Pratis, and it's true that not everything in Hashgacha could we understand. And I'm going to finish with a word from the Alter Rebbe, which is very compelling, where the Alter Rebbe said that it says in Siddur, you know the secrets of the world. And the Alter Rebbe said with a tune, as he always spoke, Benigin Kedarke, Ate Yedei Razi Elam. Razi Teire Vesen Mirech. But Razi Elam is not Ate Yedei. The secrets of the Teire we also know. But the secrets of creation only you know. In other words, the Rebbe was saying, Alter Rebbe was saying that the secrets of Teire are very great. But because Teire Hivililmad and Yitzharach, they can be understood, we can know those secrets. But Razi Elam, even the Alter Rebbe says we don't know because it's beyond what we have the tools to hold, because it's completely beyond Seichel, and therefore we can't understand them. And that's how Chassidus reconciles the Rambam and the Baal Shem Tov and makes them into a cohesion, makes them into a unity.